So, you want to learn how to sculpt the default cube in Blender into a character like this. In this video I will give you tips on how you can create a character like this for yourself, and if you're not good at sculpting yet but you still want to create character artworks, I've got some extra tips for you later in the video. So, to begin creating a character you will start with sculpting the default cube. But make sure to first slap a few subdivision surface modifiers on it, so that the cube basically becomes a subdivided sphere. And make sure to click on apply. Now let's go into the sculpt mode and let's create a rough face shape. If you want to go for a more anime styled look like me, you can give the face a strong triangle shape look like this. The brushes I use the most are the inflate and the grab brushes. But besides those, I also use the mask brush for masking specific places from which I want to extend things such as the neck or ears. When you mask an area of your face model, only that specific area will be affected by the brushes you are using, until of course you remove the mask. Adding a multi-res modifier to your sculpt is also recommended, so that your mesh will only be subdivided in the sculpting mode, preventing lag when you're in the normal viewport or the object mode. Immediately after sculpting the basic shape of the face, I always give it a skin material so that we aren't constantly looking at an ugly white blob. So, for the skin material, I simply add two different Voronoi textures together with a skin color. One Voronoi texture's scale is bigger than the others, and both of them combined give a pretty simple but also nice looking skin material. Also make sure to set the mix color node to soft light for better results. So, at this point you can create facial features such as, for example, the ears or eyes. Or, if you're not comfortable with that yet, you can choose to, let's say, use some training wheels. There are a lot of amazing eye models available to download for free online. But I found that the one from Tiny Nucky is really simple to use, but it also gives great results. So I used this one. Because my character doesn't have single colored eyes, I added this noise texture to the eye color socket in the shader editor. If you're not good with sculpting ears just yet, you can also borrow the ears from the basic human meshes Blender demo file. You can also use other body parts from this file, but we will get to that later in the video. Once we've completed all the shapes of the face, you can give the face some more light by painting some details on it. In the shader editor, replace the single color socket of the mix node with a new empty image texture that has the same color. Then open the image editor and in the viewport go to the texture paint mode. Here you can paint with different colors on the skin, and as you can see, the paint gets stored inside of the texture. Always make sure to save the image every time you've painted some new colors on it, so to make sure that your paint actually gets saved. To create the hair of my character, I used a path curve together with a Bezier curve. In the path curve settings, let's set it to object, and the object will be our Bezier circle that we just added. If we would now scale the circle in edit mode, you can see that the path curve also changes. So let's modify our circle until we have a nice looking hair shape. There are also two shortcuts that I would like to tell you about. The first one is Alt together with S for scaling a single point of the hair curve, and also Ctrl T for rotating a single point. Now with this you can create various different hairstyles for your characters. The hair of my character has a bit of a rainbow gradient, so to replicate that look I used a separate XYZ node and plugged it into a color ramp. This makes it so that based on the height of the hair, the colors change it to give it the rainbow gradient look I was looking for. If you're still a beginner, but you also want to add arms and legs to your models, feel free to also steal these from the Blender demo file. But in your final render, you of course don't want them to stay in this T-pose position. So to bend them realistically, you can add an armature to them. It sounds really difficult to do so, but it's actually very easy. First, add a new armature to your scene and place it inside of your arm or leg model. You can also enable the in front option, so that you can always see the armature bone. So go into edit mode and extend the armature bone to the position where normally a bone would be inside of your model. Then let's select the top part of the bone and press E to make a second and then to make a third bone. If we would now select both the armature and the mesh and press Ctrl P, we can parent them with automatic weights. If this option doesn't show up for you, try selecting them the other way around. Once you have done so, you can go into the pose mode for the armature, and then if you would rotate the armature, you can see that it realistically bends your mesh. Making clothes can be done in different ways, but the method I used for the clothes of this sculpture was modifying a mirrored plane. So let's add a plane to your scene and give it a mirror modifier. Then in edit mode, move the entire plane away from the world origin, and as you can see, it gets mirrored on the axis that you specified in the modifier. Now you can extrude edges to form new faces. Or if you want total control, you can also extrude single vertices and create new edges or faces by pressing F. When you have finally finished the shape of the clothes, you can apply the mirror modifier. And in edit mode, you can merge the two sides together by selecting two vertices at a time and merging them by pressing N. Of course, currently the clothes really don't look good, so to make the clothes look smoother, you can add a solidify and subdivision surface modifier to them. I hope that this video was helpful to someone. If you still have any questions, feel free to place them in the comments below and I will try to answer every single one. Good luck with sculpting everyone, bye!